Hi everyone, in this video, we're going to take a look at 3 interesting UK coins. Some people believe these pieces can sell for huge money, sometimes even thousands of dollars. Today, we're going to break things down so you understand their history, how they look, and why certain ones get talked about so much. If you enjoy old coins or want to learn which ones could be worth more than face value, this video is perfect for you. Let's jump right in. First, we're starting with the 1982 50-pence coin from the United Kingdom. Over the years, a lot of people online have claimed this coin might bring in big money, and some even say it could be worth as much as $12,000. You may have seen listings or videos showing this date with a price tag in the thousands. But is that actually true? Today, we're going to explore the coin's background, its design, how many were made and what it's really worth in the market. The 1982 50p belongs to the early era of Britain's decimal money, even though the changeover officially happened in 1971. By 1982, the new system was well established, and the 50-pence coin had already replaced the old 10-shilling note many years earlier. The 50p was still large at this time. This was before the smaller version came out in 1997, so the 1982 piece kept the classic big, heavy shape that many people remember. Just like earlier versions, the 1982 50-pence has its famous 7-sided form, called an equilateral curve heptagon. This shape wasn't chosen just for looks. It allowed the coin to roll smoothly in vending machines while still being easy to recognize by touch. The metal is a copper-nickel mix, giving it strength and that silver color. The 1982 issue is still larger than modern 50-pence coins and has the same bold, wide design used since 1969. The obverse shows the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, created by Arnold Machin. In this design, the Queen is wearing the girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara. On the reverse, you'll find Britannia seated with her trident and shield, along with the lion at her side. Christopher Ironside created this design, and it stayed on the 50p for nearly 3 decades. Now let's talk about how many were made. In 1982, the Royal Mint produced a large number of these coins. As part of regular circulation, tens of millions were struck. Because the mintage was high, this date is not scarce, and examples are still very common today. The coin you shared shows signs of steady use. The highest details on the Queen's hair, face, and shoulders are smoothed down. There are many light scratches across the fields, and both sides show the typical dullness of a circulated coin. On the Britannia side, the finer lines in the shield and the lion have softened, and the overall look is what collectors call moderate wear. With that kind of circulation wear, the typical value for this coin is around £1 to £2, which comes to about $1.20 to $2.50 in US money. If someone has a 1982 50p that looks almost brand new, bright, clean, and sharp, it might bring £3 to £4, just under $5, according to normal collector price guides. These values come from real sales, not wishful thinking. So why do people keep saying coins like this are worth thousands? Not long ago, someone listed a 50p for a shocking £8,642, which is more than $12,000. Seeing a number like that can make anyone think the coin is extremely rare. But the truth is simple, that was just an asking price. There is no proof that the coin ever sold for that amount. It was only a seller hoping someone might pay it, not a real market value. There are a few situations where a coin might sell for more than normal. One example is a true minting error. These happen when something goes wrong during production, maybe the design gets struck twice, or part of the image doesn't appear, or the coin is slightly off-center. Real errors like that are uncommon and can get extra attention. But most errors people report are just regular damage from years of use. Another version that can sell for more is a proof coin. Proof 50p coins were made with extra care for collectors, with sharp details and mirror-like surfaces. If someone has a proof version from this era in perfect condition, especially still in its original packaging, it might sell for £10 to £20, and sometimes a bit more if it was graded by a professional service. So, what does all this mean for the 1982 50p? For most people, its value sits between £1 and £3, just a little more than its face value. Proof versions can bring £10 to £20, and true mint errors might sell for a bit more, depending on how unusual they are. That giant £8,642 price you may see online is not a record sale and not a confirmed value, just an unrealistic listing. If you come across a 1982 50 pence in your change or in an old jar of coins, it's a neat piece of British history, but it's not a hidden jackpot. Even though some online listings show huge numbers, there has never been a verified sale of any early-style 50 pence for thousands. Almost every time, it's simply a common older coin that's worth a few pounds at most. Next up, we're taking a look at the 1968 10 new pence coin from the United Kingdom. This coin often pops up in conversations among collectors. Some people claim it can sell for as much as $7,000, which sounds unbelievable for a single coin. But is that really possible? Let's walk through the facts, the artwork, how many were made, and why some folks believe it's rare. This 10 pence piece belongs to the decimal coin system that officially began in 1971. But the 10p was released early, back in 1968, so people could get used to the new money before the big change. It took the place of the old 2-shilling coin, and the two coins shared the same size and feel, which made the switch easier for the public. The look of the 1968 10 pence is simple but very traditional. The front shows Queen Elizabeth II, using the second portrait of her, designed by Arnold Machin, which appeared on coins from 1968 through 1984. Flip it over, and you'll see a lion in a passant gardant pose. That means the lion is walking with one paw lifted and its head turned forward. This design is another creation by Christopher Ironside, who helped shape many of the early decimal coins. The metal is copper-nickel, so the coin has that silver tone and a heavier feel compared to newer 10 pence pieces. Years later, the Royal Mint shrank the size to make the modern 10 pence smaller and lighter, but in 1968 it still had its full large shape. Now let's talk numbers. In 1968, the Royal Mint produced more than 336 million of these coins. That's an enormous amount. Because so many were made, the 1968 10p is not considered rare when it shows normal wear. If your coin has typical marks, scratches, or dullness from being used, it's usually worth only its face value, 10 pence in the UK, or around 12 cents in US money. A coin that looks fresh and unused, what collectors call uncirculated, might be worth £1 to £3, which is about $1.50 to $4. So why do people say the 1968 10p can reach $10,000? Some sellers on the internet post this coin for extremely high prices. I've even seen a listing above £500, which equals about $600 to $700. But remember, that's just what the seller is asking. It doesn't prove that anyone actually bought it for that price. There are a few reasons collectors might think their coin is special. One reason is mint errors. Real mint mistakes, like missing letters, doubled images, or the design being struck off-center, can make some coins more valuable. But for the 1968 10 pence there are no known errors that have ever sold for thousands. Another possibility is proof coins. Proofs are specially made for collectors and have sharp details with a bright shine. A proof 1968 10 pence in perfect shape can bring a little more money, but nowhere near $10,000. Some people also label their coins as rare just to get attention. That's why it's important not to trust high asking prices without real sales to back them up. So if you own a 1968 10 pence, take a good look at it. If it seems like a regular coin with normal wear, it's likely worth less than £3. But if it looks strange, has a mirror-like shine, or shows something unusual, you can always ask a coin expert to take a closer look. That wraps up everything for the 1968 10 new pence coin. Stay with us, we still have one more coin to explore. Last in our lineup is the 1970 British 5 new pence coin. Some people say this little coin can sell for as much as $7,000. That sounds exciting, doesn't it? But before we believe that, let's explore where this coin came from, what it looks like, and what it's truly worth. The 5 new pence coin was first brought out in 1968. It took the place of the old shilling, and both coins were made with exactly the same size and weight. Because of that, people were able to use shillings and 5p coins at the same time for a few years while the country slowly moved to the new money system. But the 1975p is a little different from the earlier years. This one was not made for regular spending or shop purchases. Instead, every 1975p was created only for special collector sets, known as proof sets. These sets were made just for hobby collectors, not for everyday use. That means you would never find a 1975p in your change, which makes the coin more interesting for people who enjoy collecting old British money. The front of the coin shows Queen Elizabeth II with her second portrait, the same design used on UK coins during those years. On the reverse side is the crown thistle, the national emblem of Scotland. This design was created by Christopher Ironside, the artist behind many British decimal coins. Now let's look at how many of these were actually made. In 1970, only about 750,000 of these 5p coins were produced. That's a lot fewer than the coins made for circulation, but still not rare enough to be extremely hard to find. Every single one of them was placed inside a souvenir collector set and never released into everyday spending. Because of that, most of the 1975p coins you see today are still in very nice condition. Since they were stored inside cases or packaging, they didn't get scratched or worn down like normal coins. A 1975p in proof quality usually sells for £5 to £10, which is about $6 to $12. Some coins may sell a little higher if they've been officially graded by a professional service. So why does anyone say this coin is worth $7,000? There are a few reasons people might think that. Sometimes a seller posts a coin online with a huge price just to get attention and see if someone might buy it. I even saw one listed for $2,200, described as a very rare large 5 new pence. But again, that was just a seller's asking price, not a real sale. Another reason could be mint errors. If a 1975 pence were made with a mistake, such as being struck twice, missing some of the design, or being made from the wrong metal, then it could be worth more. But there are no well-known 1975p error coins that have sold for thousands of dollars. Some people also misunderstand the coin. Since the 1975p was never put into circulation, finding one in perfect condition might seem rare to someone who doesn't know about the proof sets. But in reality, many of these sets survived, and a lot of the coins are still around today. The only time the value might jump is if the coin is flawless and has been graded at a very high level. Even then, it might reach around £100, maybe a bit more, but not anywhere close to thousands. If you have a 1975p, check where it came from. If it looks bright, smooth, and almost new, it's most likely from a proof set. If anything looks unusual, like odd marks, missing details, or something that doesn't match other coins, then it's worth showing to a specialist just to be safe. So while dreaming of a $7,000 coin is fun, the regular 1975p is normally worth under £10. Still a great piece to keep in a coin collection. That means the 1982 50p, the 1968 10p, and the 1975p are all enjoyable coins to own. People may say they're worth $12,000, $10,000, or $7,000, but almost always, those numbers come from unrealistic online listings. The ordinary versions of these coins are not rare. If your coins look normal, they usually fall somewhere between £1 and £10. Only the special ones, coins with real minting mistakes or coins made for collectors, can bring in higher prices. If something about your coin looks unusual, shiny, or different, it's always a good idea to let an expert check it out. You never know, it might be something special. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and leave a comment. Share what coins you found at home. Who knows? Your coin might be the next one we talk about. Keep looking closely, sometimes even the smallest coins can surprise you with big value.